भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतात्मकमलम् श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगं रघुनाथान्वितं तं श्रीशिवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललित श्रीविशाखावितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्कृते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यभाति आश्चर्याधीशकारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत शिवासारि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती तमश्लोकी भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय Even though I have no qualifications, I've been asked to speak on this verse here by His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhu, Canto 4, Chapter 18, verse 16. दैतेया दानभावत्सं प्रह्लादाम् असुरर्षभम् विदाया दूदुहन् क्षीरम् अयः पात्रे सुरासवम् दैतेया दानभावत्सं प्रह्लादम् असुरर्षभम् विदाय दूदुहन् क्षीरम् अयः पात्रे सुरासवम् दैतेया दानवावत्सम् प्रह्लादम् असुरर्षभम् विदाय दूदुहन् क्षीरम् अयः पात्रे सुरासवम् दैतेया दानवावत्सम् प्रह्लादम् असुरार्षभम् विदाय दूदुहन् क्षीरम् अयः पात्रे सुरासवम् दैतेया दानवावत्सम् Prahlādham Surārshavam Vidhāya Duduhan Kshiram Ayaha Patre Surasavam Daiteya, the sons of Diti, Danava, demons, Vatsam, the calf, Prahladam, Prahlad Maharaj, Asura, demon, Rishabham, the chief, Vidhaya, making, Adudhan, they milked out, Kshiram, milk, Aya, iron, Patre, in a pot, Sura, liquor, Asavam, fermented liquids like beer. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Prabhuji. The sons of Diti and the demons transformed Prahlad Maharaj, who was born in an Asura family, into a calf, and they extracted various kinds of liquor and beer, which they put into a pot made of iron. Purport. The demons also have their own types of beverages in the form of liquors and beers. Just as the demigods use somarasa for their drinking purposes, the demons born of Diti take great pleasure in drinking wine and beer. Even today, people of demoniac nature are very much addicted to liquor and beer. The name of Prahlad Maharaj is very significant in this connection, because Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of demons as the son of Hiranyakashipu. By his mercy, the demons were and still are able to have their drinks in the form of wine and beer. The word ayaha, iron, is very significant. Whereas the nectarian soma was put in a golden pot, the liquors and beers were put in an iron pot. Because liquor and beer are inferior, they are placed in an iron pot, and because somaras are superior, it is placed in a golden pot. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, what I've done here is I've made a table which verses 14 through verses 24, they discuss a certain aspect, and that is the earth satisfies the desires of all. And depending on the desire of the denizen, the earth satisfies that desire. So, for example, the first verse here is verse 14. The denizens who have the desire are the great sages, and the Lord's instrument whom they use here is Brihaspati. And what is the desire that they fulfilled? They wanted Vedic knowledge to purify words, mind, and hearing. This is verse 14. Verse 15, the denizens who have the desire here are the devas, the demigods. They use Indra as their instrument, and the desire they fulfilled is they got soma juice, and with that they became powerful in mental speculation, bodily and sensual strength. This is what the devas wanted. Verse 16, which is the verse of this morning, the denizens are the sons of Diti. Okay, that is the Daityas and the Danavas. And the Lord's instrument here is Prahlad Maharaj. And what is their desire? They want liquor and beer. So their desire is fulfilled. So everybody's desire, whatever is one's desire, that desire is fulfilled. Here, it's a very interesting thing. There is this commentary of Bhagavatam, Krama Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami's commentary. There he's saying that all these events, he's confirmed that these events of King Prithu Maharaj happens much earlier than the appearance of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj appears in Satya Yuga much later. So So this just tells us the eternal existence of Prahlad Maharaj and all the pastimes. So, so historians cannot really get a grasp of what happens when, because if they think that if you just because a scripture says something in the beginning or the end, it's so hard to for the historians to find out which happened first. So Jiva Goswami confirms that this is before the appearance of Prahlad Maharaj as son of Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj comes here as the Lord's instrument for the sons of the demons. Verse 17, the denizens who have the desire here are the inhabitants of Gandharva Loka and Apsara Loka. And the Lord's instrument here is Vishwavasu, who is a Gandharva. And their desire is being fulfilled is they wanted sweet musical art and beauty, and they got it. Verse 18 are the inhabitants of Pitruloka. And the Lord's instrument here is Aryama, who is an Aditya. And their desire, they got kabya. This is the food that is being offered to the ancestors. And then verse 19, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka, for them they use their milk using sage Kapila. And the Siddhaloka inhabitants, their desire that is fulfilled is specific yogic mystic powers that's what they desired. And beginning with Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Garima, and so on. And the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka, their desire is the art of flying in this space. 4.18.20, the denizens here, their desire, these are the inhabitants of the Kimpurusha Loka, and they use the demon Maya as their instrument. And their desire is mystic powers by which one can disappear immediately from another's vision and appear again in a different form. This is what they desired, and their desire is fulfilled. Verse 21, the Yakshas, Rakshasas, ghosts, and the witches. The Lord's instrument is, it's in expansion of Lord Shiva as Rudra or Bhutanatha, and they had beverages made of blood. That's what they wanted. And then verse 22, the denizens are cobra, snakes without hoods, large snakes and scorpions. They use takshaka as their as the cow and their milk, and what they get is poison, which is stored in pits in different places. And then 4.18.23.
It's different places.
In the what do you call them? The in the earth, you have those dry ant hills kind of a thing, right? That's they store in those kind of places. Yeah, pits. Snake. What is
like silos?
yeah, those kind of pits. Yes. And then verse 23 are the four-legged animals like cows. They use Nandi, the bull carrier of Lord Shiva, as their instrument, and their desire they get fresh green grass to eat. And then verse 23 is ferocious animals like tigers and so on. They use a lion as the cow as an instrument, and they milk out flesh. Verse 24, the birds, they use Garuda as their instrument and as the Lord's instrument. And what they get is moving insects and non-moving plants and grasses. Verse 25, the trees, they use banyan tree, and then they get many delicious juices. And then verse 25, the mountains, they use the Himalayas as the Himalayas, and then they milk out a variety of minerals. So this is the set of verses from Canto 4, chapter 18, verses 14 through 25. Different denizens. The earth fulfills the desires of different denizens. So, what are some of the things that we can make out of these verses is that is that slide? Okay, the different desires, they are stored as seeds in the core of the heart. Okay, that is basically in the subtle body. And that is this, and that is called as bija, okay, which is the inclination to desire. And when we see these verses 14 through 25, we can see that the desires are all under the directions of the modes of material nature. It can be either in goodness, passion, or ignorance. Classic example is Brihaspati being used by the sages. That is in the mode of goodness. This is what they want. They want Vedic knowledge to purify their mind, body, and words. That's in the mode of goodness. And clearly, what is in the mode of ignorance? Blood, of course, is in the mode of ignorance. And then you have the sons of Diti and the demons. Oh, this is a typing mistake. They are sorry about that. And they got liquor, which is the verse of today, and that is in the mode of ignorance. Apologies for the typo. I'll fix that. And then passion, it is hard to figure out which is in the mode of passion versus goodness, because that is really in the mindset of the person who is asking. So I didn't fill that because, like, if the demigods, yeah, they asked for soma juice, and then to become powerful in mental speculation, bodily strength, sensual strength, only they would know whether it is in the mode of goodness or passion. So I didn't write that. It would be presumptuous to write something there. So, and then, so what we can see from this desire, there will be some actions that they will take, which will have reactions. So that means that all these desires are fully within the material domain. So now comes the classification of from these desires, results, okay, and its results are all reserved in the subtle body. So what is, so I made a flow chart here. So the root cause of all this is called as avidya or ignorance. And this avidya, there are two branches to this. One is all the past sinful activities that we have done, which is called as papa. So this is what we are, which is the sin, which is making us do things. Okay, we have committed sins. So it is going on after millions of birth times. These sins have accumulated, and then that is leading to one course. The other is the seed. This is the initial seed of desire, which is called bija. This initial desire, that is where our free will can come into picture, where we do not, if we take up Krishna consciousness, then we can avoid this cycle here, this cycle of material karma. And so at every instance, we have that free will not to be under the material domain. But that is very hard. Mama Maya Dhuratiya, Mami Vaya Prapadyanti, Maya Metam Tarantite. So that is, it is very hard. On our own, we cannot do it. But with Krishna consciousness, that is the only way by which we can actually prevent this whole uh, karmic reaction here. So you have the initial seed of desire, which is the bija and the sin, and that sows that inclination. So this is the inclination to or desire to sin is now, those seeds are all sowed in the subtle body, okay, which is called as kuta. It's coming from the word kutastha, and this in turn leads to four different kinds of results, four kinds of reactions, all happening concurrently, according to verse Canto 4, chapter 29, verse 73. There it says that all these four happen concurrently. One is called as bija. Okay, so it is lying as seed in the core of the stalk desires. Okay, so they're all as seed, it is there. Anytime, it's all there latent. It's not like coming out right away, but it's there. And then there is aprarabdha, which is in the formative stage. Okay, the seedling has not begun. And then it's called falon mukha, which is about to fructify. That means it's impending. It's coming. The distress, the big suffering is going to come anytime. And then prarabdha, which is the visible karma. That is what we are facing, the distress. So This tells us that the suffering is inevitable unless, but at every moment, the living entity has the choice whether they are surrendered to the Lord or whether they are going to be under the stringent grip of material nature. Every second that free will is there. So whether we can be Krishna conscious or whether we are going to be under the full grips of material nature. Material nature is very powerful. It won't let go anybody. I was yesterday, there was Prabhupada. I was this is in the seventh canto Bhagavatam. I was reading it 2 or 3 days ago. And this is in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. I think verses, it's the largest set of prayers, like verses 33 or 34, something, I don't remember. There, Prabhupada is actually saying, why is there are so many people who are doing so many sinful activities? Why is Krishna needed to handle all those things? Even Hiranyakashipu, is Krishna needed really to handle Krishna? It's not that Krishna as the primordial personality of Godhead. He does not really have to come and handle Hiranyakashipu. That is not the real reason for appearance. So Prabhupada is saying, because material nature itself is so powerful. The Devi Durga is so powerful that in a second she can vanquish anyone. There is no need to wait. Krishna does not have to come all the way for that purpose. The real reason why the Lord comes is for the devotees. For the devotees are so happy when the Lord comes. Krishna is that is the real reason why the Lord comes. So in the same way, every second we have this ability to exhibit that free will of surrendering to the Lord or be under the stringent grips of material nature, which is not good at all. It's very stringent, and therefore, the level to which one has surrendered, to that level, one will have free will. If one has not surrendered at all, there is no free will at all. That person is full grips of Mahamaya. That is it. They are bound, fully stringent every second, but we have that ability. The fully liberated souls, they are full Krishna consciousness. They have full free will. They can go wherever they want. They can go in space. They can go to other planets. They have the level to which one has surrendered. To that level, one has free will. Like, for example, we can say a fully surrendered soul, nobody can object them to anything. Material world, material nature doesn't object those people for anything. They want to go to some other country, they can go. Nobody will stop them. They want to go because they are doing not for themselves. They are doing for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, they will do. They have no desires of their own. Pratikulyam. So their own desires, anya abhilash, all desires which are extraneous to Krishna consciousness are not there. And therefore, they have only desires which are fully for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. So because of that, they have to that level, they exhibit. For them, there is no material consequences. There is no karma. There is no stringent grips of material nature. They are these pure devotees. They are Shuddha Bhaktas. They are able to do whatever they want because they don't want anything for themselves. They don't want anything for their so-called material. They are fully wanting to please the Lord and in the service of the Lord. And it is a wonderful experience to actually be in that kind of a state, where one is not bothered about all these mundane things. What is going to happen to me tomorrow? What is going to happen to me day after tomorrow? Am I going to be subject to, am I going to have great difficulties in my job? These kind of mundane things are gone out of their mind. This we can see so much insecurity in the minds of people here in this material world. All that material insecurity is there because they are under the full grips of nature. It doesn't matter whether one has a perfectly secure job, they are still insecure. They are afraid, they are insecure, they have they are worried all the time, they are constantly tensed because they are under the stringent grips of this nature. But a small step in this Krishna consciousness will relieve them from the most dangerous types of fear because it will give them the free will. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually says all these things, these verses 14 through 26, they're all, a lot of them are devotees. The Devas are also devotees of the Lord, but they're not pure devotees. Right? So because they're impious, they are impure, their desire is not fully in it's not in the spiritual domain fully. It is to the level to which it is in the spiritual domain, to that level they are not, they are secure. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually classifies them, okay, because all these are mixed devotional service, karma mixed with bhakti, jnana mixed with bhakti, yoga mixed with bhakti. All these things are mixed devotional service, and he classifies the first three, artho artha arti jignasu gnani cha bharatarshapa. So he's classified the first three as fruit of workers. And the wise, even Jnani, even though the Jnani may be the best out of these four, they are still empirist. They are still doing for some knowledge. This knowledge is what they're going to do with this knowledge. Knowledge may be useful to a level that maybe it will build a proper foundation. But even that knowledge, at the end of the day, if it is not translating to love of Krishna and the Vaishnavas, that knowledge is of no use. So, no matter what knowledge one gets, it is ultimately of no use if it is not, if Krishna is not happy. So, and Jiva Goswami also confirms this. He says in his commentary of this Kramasandarbha, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 2, uses the word Sakaitava. Sakaitava is devotional service performed with pride or envy, with a motive to enjoy matter. So we can see that actually in all these verses 14 through 26 in this chapter 18, that 25, that there is a motive to enjoy. There is, or even to free oneself from conditioned life, just as the sages want, in varying severity. All these there is a semblance of devotion, and it is not. There is a semblance. It looks like devotion, but it is not. What is semblance? What is the semblance? Semblance is
Like it's appear to be, but
appear to be, but not.
So you gave some example of semblance.
Okay, I'll give us an example. I didn't give. Pardon me, Prabhu.
Mirage.
So I'll give another example. So this is like semblance of chanting the holy name. Nam Abhash. Like Ajamina, he was chanting the name Narayana, but at the time of death, but he did not call for the Lord, he called for his son, but his intention was pure. So there he is chanting the name Narayana, but it is not the pure name. So it is semblance. It looks like devotion, but not. But but that kind of a chanting is also does not have aparadh. That is why the Vishnu Dutas came, right? And then there is akaitava, which is without cheating. This kind of devotional service is a good one. Akaitava, pure devotional service. So there is no cheating in it. So like we see that various people, they go to so many demigods and then they pray for various things. That is that kind of a transactional behavior is actually cheating even the demigods. Ultimately, for them, they don't care about the demigods. Whether they want, they are going and praying, but it's not like um, they are caring about, it's not like they have that love for those devas. It is not there. But even if it is there, it is transient, temporary, and it is not coming out of, probably it is not coming out of full knowledge, right? And therefore, even with Krishna, the kind of devotion that we need to do is not something which involves the component of cheating. That is, we take everything from Krishna and then but there is an ulterior motive. There is that kind of a transactional a devotional service where I do something, Krishna, I have offered food every day throughout my life. Therefore, you are still not taking care of me. I have so many problems. My family is not doing good. My work is not doing good. And but that kind of a transactional behavior it's very hard to take it out because from our childhood we have probably not learned how to pray, what sort of prayers to offer to the Lord. So it is already ingrained in our material consciousness that every activity we need to have a fruit. We need to have some result out of it. We work hard at work and then we need to get a promotion. We work and then our boss needs to recognize us. We do something for the kids. Okay, the kids are not even grateful. They are not telling us how the parents have helped. So this kind of thing is seeded into our brain already that we always expect something out, and so it is coming out also in devotional service. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like this, but just the general public. So we come out with this. So we have done all these activities. We are doing so many things, and even thoughts like every day I chanted 16 rounds for 30 years, 25 years. So what is the result? So this kind of thing of constantly expecting some result out of it is called as a transactional behavior, and that is in essence cheating, because we are not chanting to get something from Krishna. He's Thakur, the master. We are chanting because chanting is the goal and the process and the sambandha, prayojana, abhidheya, everything is actually associated with just with chanting. We are chanting to chant. In Prabhupada Lilamrita, there was actually in the second or third volume, I think third volume, there is one in America. I think it's in San Francisco. There was one devotee who came, and then they saw the beautiful kirtan, and they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, with this beautiful chanting, and when this Mahamantra is being chanted, I'm actually seeing visions of Krishna everywhere. Yeah. And then and then Prabhupada gives nice reply to that, So just chant, just continue chanting. Chanting is to chant. It is not to see visions of Krishna or it's not for a. The chanting is fully sufficient in itself. It is the names of Krishna are fully sufficient. There is no need for artificial process. It is fully sufficient. The Krishna name is so powerful. And what if, but independent of desire, because sometimes we think, okay, so we have all these desires, but even whether there is desire, akama, sarvakam, whatever is the desire, it is still wise to go to Krishna. Because Krishna, whether you have, even if you want to desire, even in this cheating methods, someday the cheating will disappear. Someday that cheating will disappear. And we don't need to hope for that. Krishna will take care of all those things. Therefore, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. So that means like whatever is our desire, whether we have desire, material desire, whether we don't have material desire, no matter what, it's good to approach Krishna. Krishna, even sometimes there was this thing in Bhagavatam, again in the seventh canto, in Prahlad prayers in the purport. Apparently, there is one Westerner who visited Kolkata and the temple is Calcutta. And then they visited the temple of Bhadrakali there, Kali there. And then afterward, he visited a few other temples, and then they visited the temple of Krishna. And then he found something unique there that. There was an activity being done by Kali, and that was that she was killing some demon, and then they were like skull and everything. So that means that the goddess was doing some activity. But then here, when he saw Krishna, and then that he was finding that the Lord was not doing any activity, just having a flute and just not bothered about anything, and just in his own. And then the visitor concluded that this must be the Lord because he's not really doing anything. He's just happy and then playing a flute, and there's no activity be done. So for Krishna, there is no activity that needs to be done at all. So And but if we do not get into this, if we do not use our free will, we will be under the stringent grip of material nature, which is not a very pleasant thing, because this material thing, even if somebody is living in a good living condition, it is like a class A prison. They might be having a TV at home and air conditioning, but they're still in the prison. So it's like this world, we have varying classes of prison. Some are in, we call we build prisons in different counties and everything, and then have some people there. But we ourselves are in a prison, and they are also in a prison. Everybody is in some kind of a prison. And therefore, this is Bhakti Sandarbha 6.240.7. Jiva Goswami says the Bhagavatam gives the fact that living entities are placed under stringent grips of nature, material nature, in a variety of situations in this world. And this is the evidence of the Supreme Lord's existence. And this is in um, the Bhagavatam purport 6.1.9, famous verse, Prayaschitta Matokratam. This is the elephant story where the elephant puts mud on itself. Maharaj Parikshit said, one may know that sinful activity is injurious for him because he actually sees that a criminal is punished by, this is the Ajamila, sorry. The criminal is punished by the government and rebuked by people in general. And because he fears from scriptures and learned scholars that one is thrown into hellish conditions in the next life for committing sinful activities. Nevertheless, in spite of such knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again, even after performing acts of atonement. Therefore, what is the value of such atonement? So it is, that means, like, we know that if we break even the society's civil laws, we could be in trouble. If we break the laws of material nature, whether we read scriptures, we know that we could have repercussions in the next life. This, we take it for granted sometimes, that our life is actually pretty good. It is much better than, if we look at the world, the kind of sufferings that people undergo, we will get a perspective that everybody feels that their own life is the worst of all that can ever be there. And it is understandable, because that's how the nature is. Just as sugar is sweet, salt is salty. In the same way, the characteristic of the material world is, it is suffering. There is suffering, and therefore it is going to be there. They're not wrong in that sense, but in a sense, if we compare ourselves with so many people across the world, it is not bad at all. We have food to eat, we are able to live. There are so many things we're able to do, but when we see so many kids, different parts of the world, they don't have basic necessities of life. They are under such stringent grip, and a lot of them don't even know that they're suffering, right? And even if we know that there are so many sufferings, we can go into those kind of body. People who think of ending their lives, they would also want to think this, because the next life would be way worse than what it is right now. And therefore, we don't have to hope for some good material thing to happen to us, because that hope will always be hopeless. But there is always spiritual hope. Krishna and the Vaishnavas are the actual hope. It seems very, and just words, but it is real. It is, we get real hope of living and having a wonderful time when we listen to the names of Krishna being sung by a pure devotee. At that time, we will not be bothered by any material problem. It will be beyond our thing, whether whatever is our circumstance, because those names of Krishna will be there in our ears. Whether there is a problem in the family, whether there's a problem in the parents, children, spouse, friends, business, boss will be saying something, whether the boss says things which are pleasant to our ears or not, it doesn't matter, because the names of Krishna are constantly, but it has to come from the pure devotee's mouth, not from a celebrity or those in the material domain. Those pure devotees' names, when it enters the Bhagavatam, is so, it will enrich the heart. and then it will take out all these things that we will live in a different world. We will live in a transcendental world, and we won't be in this material domain. And therefore, but what this pervert is telling here is, even though we know that there are so many consequences, we are still forced to commit those activities. We have already cheated once, we have cheated second time, and now, okay, fine, already cheated two, three times. What is the problem? Let's cheat once more. But but Krishna consciousness will give us that free will to not be forced to do that material activity, that particular sinful react. I didn't say material act, it's a sinful thing. So sorry for the small things. This is Sukham Indriyakam Daitya Deha Yogena Dehinam. So this is another verse. In the material world, in any form of life, there is some so-called happiness, so-called distress. There's no happiness, there is just decrease in distress. That's what we're calling as happiness. No one invites distress in order to suffer, but still it comes. Similarly, even if we do not endeavor to obtain the advantages of material happiness, we shall obtain them automatically. This happiness and distress are obtainable in any form of life without endeavor. Thus, there is no need to waste time and energy fighting against distress or working very hard for happiness. Our only business in the human life, form of life should be to revive our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become qualified to return home back to Godhead. Material happiness and distress come as soon as we accept a material body, regardless of what form. We cannot avoid such happiness and distress under any circumstance. The best use of human life, therefore, is to revive the relationship with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This is the famous verse in the first canto, fifth chapter, Sage Narada, chapter Kasyaiva Heto. Heto is the cause. Prayate to Kovido, famous verse. Translation: as far as happiness is derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. We don't go and desire, okay, please give me all these problems. We are not desiring all these things, but it will come on its own. In the same way, whatever distress is bound to come, it will automatically come. So this is another verse. This is in the seventh canto, second chapter, Bhagavatam, the path. Okay. So what it says, sometimes one loses his money in the public street where everyone sees it. Yet the money is protected by destiny and not seen by others. If you have to lose the money, you will lose. If the money is gone, so no matter how safe you keep one keeps their jewelry or money or whatever, if it has to be lost, the robber will come, take it and go. And even if you put the jewelry on the street, and if you're not bound to lose it, it will still be there as it is. It just comes in the same thing. This is in the material realm, but in the spiritual realm, the same thing. Prabhupada repeats this again and again in the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, where it says that if Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can save them. And Krishna wants to protect somebody, nobody can harm them. In the same way, but that is in the spiritual realm. So this is in this, in our, with ordinary material things. And therefore, Pumsoyam samstriter hetur asantosho arita kamayo. So what this is, verse 88, chapter 19th, 8th canto, 19th chapter 25. Material existence causes discontent in regard to fulfilling one's desires and achieving more and more money. Everybody's in that. I'm seeing this also frequently these days, like parents, especially, so much pressure on the kids. Go work on this, go to this, you have to study this to this level, go to this university, that thing, and then achieve all these things. And but I don't know what those parents itself will get out of all these things. What is the benefit they will get out of this? The kid probably is going to leave the house someday and never even look at the parent and the way in which they are being raised, right? What they will get out of this, and what is the basic culture of how to be a good person, that will help the kid. But then if we go this one, for achieving constantly go after money, this is the cause for the continuation of material life, which is full of repeated birth and death. But one who is satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from them. So whatever comes, let it come. There is no need to. So I've seen this also that people, materialists, constantly plans. Even in the material world, they go, "Oh, this problem will come later. Let's make all precautions to handle it right now, so that when that problem comes, I will handle it this way." See, the problem has not come yet, and you don't even know whether the problem is going to come. But then we are stressed. We do all the precautions. We make all the things. That is not a devotee. A devotee doesn't go plan for every material problem that is supposed to come 1 month away, 2 months away, 10 years away, 20 years away, planning for every circumstance. Then what is the need for Krishna? Then we plan everything. We do all the alternate schemes. Everything is planned. Then what will Krishna do for our life? Then Krishna would be like, okay, handle it yourself, material thing, and you yourself are amazing, you know what to do. If this problem comes, you know how to do, handle it. So but a devotee doesn't go plan like that. They are simple people. They have a good heart. They have pure thoughts. They don't go handle everything on their own. When the problem comes, at that time they will think wisely. They will think wisely what is good for their Krishna consciousness, what is good for their family. They need to have some income coming. Krishna will take care of that. They will have to have they have to have a livelihood. They will plan for it. They will be wise. If they need to go get an attorney for that problem, they will go get an attorney. But they don't plan ahead of time and think, okay, this problem. So that is a transactionist. Then what is the difference between a materialist and a devotee? So we say we do all this chanting, okay, but I am still planning. 5 years from today, this problem will come. My parents will be like this. Okay, for that, I'll do all these things. And so that, but then everything has become transactional. So this is another verse, fourth chapter, 29th, fourth canto, 29th chapter. Charan vindati yad disham. According to this translation, according to his destiny, he, that is a materialist, sometimes receives punishment and is driven out, and other times receives a little food to eat. Similarly, the living entity being influenced by so many desires. I'm talking about all these things because it is all coming out of desires. These verses, 14 through 24, they are all desires of different denizens. And they wander in different species of life according to their own. The desire is creating the destiny. The destiny, we are all. So it is again. It is said in the Bhagavatam, seventh canto again, the first chapter. The God is equal to everyone, because Lord is, whether whoever it is, the Lord is equal to that person. But it is we who are desiring. If we are desiring ice cream, we will get ice cream. If we are desiring Krishna, we will get Krishna. Whatever we desire, and then but it would be unfair to say Krishna is very unkind that he has given ice cream to one person and he is not giving ice cream to the other person, because the other person that is not their desire. They are desiring service to the Lord. They are desiring service to the work, working with the Vaishnavas. That is their desire. So Krishna is giving them, that doesn't mean that Krishna is partial to one person. But this day and age, Kali is becoming so stringent that they would probably think that ice cream is the better benediction. But that is the state at which the world is right now. Canto 9, chapter 9, verse 33, as one is put into distress by destiny, destiny can also put one in a happy situation. Destiny is extremely strong, but one can change destiny if one comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So it means, like, even though if we have the desire, the sincere desire to a simple thing, which I think has worked in many cases. Some days rarely, few days I've seen me not doing it, but before going to sleep, reading some uh, book about Krishna, whether it is Krishna book or even Bhagavatam, it will keep the night peaceful, and the next day will be good. So these are all basic things that we can do to help ourselves. And then I'm going to skip these. So this is the verse in Bhagavad Gita. verse 3.5, everyone is forced to act helplessly. The modes of material nature is so stringent, they're forced to act according to the material qualities they've acquired from the modes of material nature. So then one can actually question here, if everything is being forced by the modes of material nature, why are they being punished? Right? Because somebody is forced to act in the mode of goodness, somebody is forced to act in the mode of ignorance, then they are committing robbery. Okay, then we can say, why are we even somebody who, okay, I don't want to get into politics. So if somebody is forced to get, then why is then that person being imprisoned by the law? Because they're being forced by modes of material nature. The reason why they are sinful is not because of whatever is the sinful activity they have done. It is because they have misused their free will to take up that material activity, and the level to which they have gone far away from in that material activity, to that level they will get that they will get the punishment. Because there are activities which take you even further away from Krishna. Like if one commits a robbery, or if one commits even a bigger crime, it will take away further away from Krishna consciousness, and that is the sinful activity. But if we are in the mode of goodness, okay, we are seeking knowledge, that is also not a Krishna conscious activity, but that is still nearer to the mode of pure goodness. It is easier for someone who is, all these things are in the material world, all these activities are just relative. Who are to say one is sinful and one is not sinful? Actually, everything is sinful only, because anything not to do with Krishna is in the platform of material domain, and it will have reactions. However, because all these, for somebody, something is, if we see this world itself, we are talking about so-called justice, but that is for somebody's eyes, that is true. And for somebody else's eye, that is not true. For somebody's eyes, this person is rich. For somebody else, that person is poor. Because everything is relative. So all these things are relative classifications. But the only thing that is actually distinguishing them is, are they in the Krishna conscious platform, or are they in the material platform? That is the real distinction. Everything else within the material world is just relativity. It is just for somebody, someone will appear Mahan, great. And for the same Mahan, in the eyes of somebody else, will appear sinful. Right? So it is just gradations in this material world. So this is the verse talking about destiny in Bhagavad Gita. Prakrite kriyamanani punai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit so bewildered by the influence of false ego thinks himself as a doer of the activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. But Krishna doesn't leave it here. The very next verse is the verse on free will. Okay, so this is the next verse. Tattva vittu mahabaho. This is the verse on free will. Okay, it comes, destiny is the first verse, next verse is the free will. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, oh mighty arm, does not engage himself in sense and sense gratification. They are fully engaged in Krishna conscious activity. That is the free will. And therefore, Prabhupada says, if you have, I'll leave that summary here, the living being eternally possesses the free will to either serve Krishna or Maya. When he opts for Maya, he remains stringently under the grips of Maya until one uses his free will to decide that he wants to no longer be captive of Maya, that he now wants to return to his liberated position, this position of Brahmabhuta, as an eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord in his divine pastimes in Vraja Gokul. And then here, Mancha Patrubhyastak, Vasan the Beachel, Patitanam, Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavibhyo, Namo Namaha. And thank you to Mr. Shyam Kishabal. It gave me an opportunity to prepare this slide. Hare Krishna.
Amazing, amazing class.
Hare Krishna.
Very interesting statement about degree of freedom.
Mm.
The degree of surrender that you are,
Mm.
that degree you get freely. Is there an inference, or there is some shloka
Mm.
that share that information?
Mm. So, nice question, Prabhu. Actually, that statement, I heard it from some of my mentors, some of my Guru Maharaj's disciples. They actually shared that with me to the level. So it is I actually don't know the exact verse. And but then we can see that in various instances in the Bhagavatam. Like if we see the Kumaras, for instance, they have the full free will there to actually travel wherever they want. Nobody is stopping them. They are like pure devotees. Nobody is telling them you cannot go here, you cannot. So, but the materialist, they are like they can be stopped. They don't have the ability to go. Like what to speak of going from here to the moon planet? They don't have the ability to go from one country to another. Even another country stops them. So that means that they don't have free will to actually go. They are under the grips of material nature. Somebody is telling, oh, you need some document to go from one country to another. They are under the grips of material nature. So, but whereas if we see the liberated souls, they exhibit the free will. So they exhibit the free will, and the pure devotees have that free will. They are actually speaking as Krishna conscious entities. We are all part and parcel, separated part and parcel of Krishna. Vibhinna, that's the verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Separate part and parcel. We all have that free will. And it is just that we choose not to take it up. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes.
Thank you. I will also find out actually, but that one comes purely from my learning from my senior Vaishnava devotees. So, nice question. I never questioned them. That's the thing. I just took that statement as it is. So,
makes sense because the amount of surrender that we have, we actually are able to execute our free will and dependence on Krishna. You know, amount of surrender that the amount how much I'm surrendered to Krishna, that much I will stop questioning why this is happening to me. Right? And then I'm able to execute my free will because I'm completely surrendered to Krishna. I really don't question that why me or I need that or the different material wants are no longer there because I'm surrendered. And that way I'm able to execute my free will of serving Krishna. Ultimately, best use of the free will is to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And the amount of surrender that one has that will help that cause.
Nicely put, Prabhu. Actually, I remember from what you said, my mentors, the devotees, they actually told me one more thing too in that context. Like when Prabhupada was there, like when he wanted to go to some country, no country can stop him. Like they cannot say, oh, this visa, that visa. They will automatically stamp whatever is needed because that is the will of the pure devotee. The pure devotee wants it, all these material instruments, they will automatically put the visa or whatever the document is, they will put and give because that's I think that's the example they gave. Like nobody can stop those pure devotees. Whatever they want, they will do. Prabhuji?
You made an interesting point about the devotees will not plan. It seems like I hear from many other senior devotees that you should not make Krishna to work for you. And especially in the organizing anything, you must have the plans and checks and balances to check so that we can serve the devotees. So we cannot rely on Krishna if we take care of your festival. It's not going to So it's kind of a tendency to oh, I also hear especially pastimes where it's a Gauranga where one time he had to go and beg for the pan for Mahaprabhu. And then the next day he thinks immediately he provides the pan to Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu says, now you have to take Kunastastra. Because what you did, you were planning. And then what he did, oh, Mahaprabhu is taking time, no, I'm taking time to serve Mahaprabhu. So he went ahead and then he collected all the pan and everything, and he gave. So then Mahaprabhu decided, no, you have decided, no, you have to give Kunastastra because you are planning. Krishna plan.
Mm.
So that.
So the question here is for those in Zoom. Is about planning, and what what should what is we should not like use Krishna for our planning purpose, and versus what we spoke what I discussed in the we discussed in the lecture about in the class about um, the point I think I was trying to make there was planning for a problem, not for planning for activities. Like if some calamity or some problem is going to come down the line, to foresee that problem, oh, this problem will come or that problem will come, and then to take care of our material well-being based on that, based on seeing what all future material problems could come for us. That is what I think I was trying to talk about here. But planning activities, planning and as a management as a thing, like these are the principles of planning as part of principles of management is a different topic. That planning, organizing, staffing, all those kind of things are things that we need to do as part of our Krishna conscious duties. That planning is different. The planning that I was talking about was only for handling, if we need to plan for a certain, um, for unforeseen problems which have not come yet, that means that we don't have faith in Krishna at all. Like, am I wrong, Prabhu, there? What do you want to say? Am I?
Like, when we are in this ashram, the planning is, if you take everything in this life is insurance. It just until it. I was hearing other devotees. Like, what is the worst thing that could happen? The end of the day is the budget should not be disturbed. So I'm just what I'm hearing. So worst thing is you lose your life. Okay. Are you putting your family in this or are you taking insurance so they can do the budget? Like, next to best thing is like you may lose your body parts. So, so this whole thing is definitely there is element of mean. But the goal is to have the budget to continue. So that kind of I was thinking the seminars on those things. We don't need to worry, oh, I don't have insurance or I don't have this, like that. That's what I mean.
No, very nice, bro. Very nice.
So the goal is to have continuity of budget. But but end of the day, our understanding is even though we plan, our hands are Krishna can give only this hand. So even if you plan so many things that will slip from our hands, that is true. But from that perspective,
like even this insurance and all those kind of things, it is okay for Grahasthas. They take insurance. That those kind of planning for things, even if I really I think the kind of thinking I was trying to think is like
that also
hypothetical problems. It's like hypothetical things that have not taken place. It has not come in. These are not like, I'm not talking about life insurance.
Thinking too much about that.
Yeah, some kind of a problem. It has not occurred, but we are constantly thinking, hypothesizing, oh, that thing could happen. I'll make arrangements for that right now. Like the thousands of problems. What about problems that we cannot even hypothesize? Then Krishna can always give that kind of a problem. The material nature will give us that kind of a problem that we haven't hypothesized. And even if whatever, no matter what we plan, we may not be able to still handle that problem, right? So that is what I was trying to tell Prabhu. We speculate all the kinds of things, and so even now we are not happy. That problem may never come at all, but even now we are not happy because we think that the problem may come. Unless you have something else to add to that, Prabhu. But
A good example would be that there is a Gauranga, most of the time that hurricane or something is advertised. Warning is given. Now you do whatever is best.
You do whatever.
And get out of the
Exactly. Exactly.
But you keep on worrying, "Arey, I didn't put this away. I feel in constant anxiety about just the hurricane." That's the point I think you are trying to make. That planning, overthinking, over endeavoring for something that is not in your control at the end of the day.
There's like some hypothetical problems which probably will never occur at all. Planning for them. So
yeah, I think that makes sense. Which may never occur.
Sure, things are different. Even this insurance and all are like that is your duty to do things. You have to probably you have a building, you have a thing. You obviously have to take insurance. That is not the kind of planning I'm talking about. That is the duty. These are hypothetical planning for the unforeseen circumstances, like something that could occur at this time, and it will. That's what I was. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I like that very much that the point about transactional, I'm doing this for you. So I was thinking that can be so much with devotees also. We can have this mentality with devotees also. What will devotees do for me? And I was having a question like, suppose I am planning for something. Suppose, it's not quote unquote material, it's not quote unquote spiritual, but I'm planning for something. So you were saying by planning, material planning, then that becomes transactional. So I was trying to understand if you could explain.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji, very nice thing. All these are gradations, right, Prabhu? So like there is a gradation to the level to which one has gone into Krishna consciousness.
Like I'll give you an example.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'll give an example.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you repeat? What is the my plan? What did you ask?
He's saying if you tell me.
Yeah, if you are planning something material, say it's not material, it's not spiritual. Like I'll give an example. I have asthma problem, right? So now I will do pranayam every day. Why? Because it may happen, right? So yeah, in one sense, I'm not depending on Krishna. I'm not having faith that Krishna will protect me. Like I heard like some pure devotees saying, like Haladhar Maharaj is a real incident. Haladhar Maharaj, and he was a brahmachari. He went to God Govind Maharaj. He said, Maharaj, I'm becoming very sick. What to do? Maharaj just said, just chant holy name. Seriously. Maharaj said that what will all this medicine do? He said the reason for sickness is because of prarabdha. And medicine cannot kill prarabdha. Only holy name has power. Right? So this is ultimate standard. So I accept that. If I am taking shelter means I'm not fully surrendered, for sure. But my question is that if we take some material precaution for some material problem that may not have happened, may not be like very serious problem. How is that how are we being transactional with Krishna because of that? That's my question.
So nice question. So here there are a couple of things here. So one is, as long as one is in the material platform, material consciousness, to that level, one needs to take care of the material body because they are not in the platform of the pure devotee. So, so that means that if they are going to a physician, taking care, these are all part of the duties that one has to do to take care of their material. So they need to do the planning. They need to take care of the things because they are not yet in the platform of one who is in the liberated state. So the more and more one becomes Krishna conscious, to that level, one will not need the support of all these different elements. Because at the end of the day, there is nothing material. At the end of the day, everything is spiritual. So a pure, a Shuddha Bhakti, it's like a gemstone where there is no reliance on anything material. At that time, there is no transaction. There is no transactional behavior. There is no everything because they are fully in the platform where all they can see are the Vaishnavas. They can see the spiritual world. They're already living in the spiritual world. Even for the eyes of the others, they may be living in the material world, but they themselves, they are able to see the Vaikuntha. They are in the spiritual world. They are fully in that domain. So there is no need. For them, they don't need. So it's a gradation. So the level to which one is fully in the spiritual domain, to that level, they will or will not need the to do all these. But in the beginning stages, one has to do what they have to do, because otherwise it is they would at the consciousness in which they are seeing the material body. It's not like they are seeing only the spiritual body. So to depending on the conscious the level in which they are, to that level they have to take support of the system. Right, bro? I don't know.
No, so I understand the point you're making is basically whenever we choose to take shelter of material things, that time we're not taking shelter of Krishna. Basically, I mean, to put it in a very highest level, it's just like the Brajvasis, that when they were in such a big problem, it is a material problem in one sense, that there was rain thundering down, and it is a material problem. It was affecting their quote unquote, of course, nothing is material, but just for the sake of example, their life, and at that time they didn't even think of making some material arrangement. They didn't even think, oh, how can we? They just completely depend on Krishna. And they said, it's like, okay, if Krishna, if you'll protect me, you'll protect others, I'll die. I'm ready to die. Like Srivas Thakur example. My Lord, if nobody feeds me, we'll fast for first day, second day, third day, and fourth day, if nobody feeds, we'll all go together and we'll drown in Ganges. So that is
very nice, Prabhuji. The only point there I think is, also want to just add this now, a nice thing you said, is that cannot be done artificially. Like a neophyte devotee, they cannot imitate the Vrajavasis and then say, okay, Krishna, I depend on you fully, and I'm not going to take any protection of all these material things, because it cannot be artificial. Vrajavasis were able to do it because they were in spontaneous love, that they don't need all these this material domain. But for a neophyte devotee, they cannot act, they cannot force, they cannot do it by artificially, by saying, okay, now today I've come into Krishna conscious platform, and therefore it is not an artificial imposition on mind that they say, okay, today I've become Krishna conscious, so today I won't do anything, which is Krishna will fully take care of everything. It's right.
What is the adhikar for, or what is the difference, you can say, clear-cut difference between, imitation and following? What is it?
Probably the answer for that, they themselves will know. That living entity will know, their guru will know. And it is very, guru will know. Others, it is very hard to say. Like it is, even when we see devotees, Prabhu, it is so hard to distinguish. Is this a neophyte devotee, Madhyamadikari? If we start doing that classification, it will start creating, at least I think it will start, it'll sow seeds for so many offenses, because we may think that person is a neophyte devotee, but then that person might actually be very advanced. And so
can we say it's based on faith?
Based on faith.
Based on level of faith, to that extent,
Correct.
they
Correct.
can depend on Krishna.
Correct.
If they have full faith on Krishna,
Exactly.
and they are not doing anything
Exactly.
which is against pure devotional
Exactly.
principle.
Exactly.
If they're always acting on pure devotional principle,
Yes.
always dependent on Krishna, they have full faith in Krishna, then they have the eligibility to follow in the footsteps of those.
So, but those devotees whom you are talking about, Prabhu, for them, this kind of planning and all these things won't occur in the mind, because they have already crossed all that. It is coming as an effect. The effect of the pure devotional services, that they don't need to think about all these things, about planning and everything. But for a neophyte devotee or even a Madhyamadikari, they will have to do the planning to take care of their mind, body, soul, and everything in the thing, because they cannot artificially say to themselves, okay, I'm a Krishna conscious entity today. Okay, so all these things are right, Prabhu. So that is all I'm saying.
I think also it boils down to what Paramatma tells them in the heart, to that extent. They feel comfortable.
Correct.
According to what Paramatma says, according to that level, they feel comfortable.
Exactly. It's a gradation.
It's just like, for example, maybe one of us, if we have some problem, we can just put faith that Prabhupada will take care. But a materialistic person, they cannot, that's very uncomfortable for them. They cannot. Exactly. So to that level that you feel comfortable, to that extent you can.
Like in fact, that if that person is forced, okay, today, let's say that forced, then the next day they won't even come to Krishna consciousness. They will think, okay, Krishna has not taken care of me, and then now I have to go plan everything myself, and they will even give it up. So,
Thank you so much. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amazing. Very. If you possible, yeah, we can end the Zoom and then we discuss. Zoom is ended.
Any questions on the Zoom?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I was just trying to understand, even on this discussion where we were having, if in other classes we have heard Krishna has also given us our intelligence. So why can't we like when we are facing a problem or when we are in a difficult situation, is it not possible that a person has a devotee has full faith on the Lord and he puts the onus on the Lord by saying, my Lord, I am going to try this in this situation. If you think this is right, let that happen.
Very nice, Mataji. So the question here is about intelligence. So the intelligence is also of two kinds. One is material intelligence and one is spiritual intelligence. Just as how we have material body, and then you have a material mind, and then we have a material intelligence, and then the false ego. In the same way, we have a spiritual body, we have a spiritual mind, a spiritual intelligence, and the true ego, which is our identity as the servant of Krishna. Therefore, the use of the spiritual intelligence, okay, which will in turn tell the spiritual mind and tell the spiritual body how to act and how to behave, what to do things, that is the true use of the real intelligence. The real intelligence is actually spiritual. But then the subtle body, which is material, which is the material intelligence, that intelligence cannot be trusted on our own, because that material intelligence, there, the senses, it is going in the reverse order. The bodily senses are telling the material body what to do. The material body is telling the material mind what to do. The material mind is telling the material intelligence, okay, you guide me in this way. And the material intelligence in turn is telling, oh, we are actually this body, and that is the false ego. And therefore, what you're telling is totally true, Mataji. We need to use our intelligence, but the intelligence that we need to use is the spiritual intelligence, the intelligence which is composed of spirit. And that intelligence, when we use, then our thinking will be proper, and we will use that intelligence properly to guide our mind and our body. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, but it is a little too technical because when we are in a problem, we might not be able to distinguish between. So, for my small understanding, it is like when we put full faith in the Lord, instead of taking ownership. I mean, in one sense, we are taking ownership, but in heart of heart, the ownership is on the Lord. My Lord, I am yours. I am dependent on you. In this situation, this is what I think I can do. If you think this is right, let that happen.
Oh, nicely put, Mataji, because intelligence is, whether it is, even if it is, we talk material intelligence, it is there. The level, all I'm telling is the level to which one has progressed in Krishna consciousness, to that level, one will act. That is all I'm trying to say. If a person, but one cannot force themselves, like especially a neophyte devotee, they cannot force themselves to say, okay, I will take all my intelligence out and then let Krishna just deal with this, and then just they're neither Krishna conscious, nor fully surrendered, nor do they actually have faith. So what is their intelligence saying? So in that case, they better take they use their material intelligence for certain things. So the level to which one has progressed, to that level one will be able to use their one to that level they will have their faith, not the level to which they have the faith in the Lord. To that level they would have to rely. It's all proportional. It's all proportional. So we shouldn't artificially do it. That's all I'm trying to say. So
Agree, Prabhuji. Agree. Totally agree. Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a very nice class.
please, yes, Shyam Kishore Prabhu is adding.
No, sir. Actually, the thing is that when one is fully pure, no, that's it. When one is fully pure, then one can hear the voice of the Lord very clearly. But when one is not fully pure, you may not be able to hear 100%. So that's why best is that to always have Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That way, when you not only Lord, but when you actually take shelter of the devotees, more you take shelter, the more there is chance that what you will hear will be more close to what the truth is. Otherwise, if I speak for myself also, if we just completely directly go to Lord, we may not hear, even though Lord may be speaking, sometimes we may not hear. So the best thing is to depend on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and very carefully, go about. Because otherwise, we may run the risk of we may think we are hearing something, may not be the Lord's voice also. It happened to me many times. But one thing is for sure, when we make this kind of prayer to the Lord that I'm depending on you, definitely Lord will send us in right direction.
Very nice.
Even though we may get wrong, even if we get wrong message in the heart, Krishna will guide us to a devotee. Devotee will tell us something. Prabhu, this is from nowhere. Like today, I had a practical experience actually, incredible experience. I was just sitting in the class, I was praying to my Guru Maharaj, and I was listening. Wow, so many things my Guru Maharaj speaks was coming out of Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu's mouth. So the thing is, prayer is definitely very powerful. Dependent mood is very good. But yeah, that best is, but yeah, I feel that Krishna will tell us within the heart, that is for sure. To the extent that we pray, to the extent that we depend, more and more we depend, and we give up our independent mentality, and especially we stop doing sense gratification. To the extent that we stop doing sense gratification and stop engaging in non-Krishna conscious activities, to that extent, we can expect Lord to actually intervene in our life for pure devotees too.
Excellent. This is a major point I missed in my lecture, Mataji, because that Prabhuji, thank goodness he actually completed it. Because if we taking shelter of our mentors, Guru Maharaj, that will give us the proper intelligence to actually deal with it. If we speculate, then there is no trust in it. Today we'll say, okay, it feels like Krishna is telling us this. It feels like Krishna is telling that, when Krishna is probably not telling that at all. And but taking a proper shelter of a mentor, of Guru Maharaj, and in that way, that will give us the proper intelligence to act.
Absolutely agree, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
And I want to give example also of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, when he wanted to run away from home, so initially he wanted to go to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, no, do this. Then after that, he added Nityananda Prabhu also. After adding Nityananda Prabhu, then slowly, so he was taking shelter of devotees. Many devotees also on his behalf. I mean, how to say, Nityananda Prabhu asked many devotees to pray for him also. So I feel that if we are taking shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra in a humble mood, and at the same time we're trying to depend on Krishna, then Krishna will increase our adhikar.
Excellent.
Slowly, so that we can come to the stage. Actually, many times I pray that why is it that I have to pray only? That's it. The day should come that I don't have to pray. All my activities should be aligned completely with the desire of the pure devotees of the Lord. So there's no need for me to pray because I don't want to do anything which is against their will. I just want to be an instrument of their will. So as we take shelter and slowly we ascend, it is like very in a protected way we ascend. Otherwise, I'm speaking for myself also, if we make decisions, it can create. I mean, but still Krishna is there. For sure, Krishna is there, I'm sure. I'm sure for you, Mataji, Krishna is there. I'm not
very nicely put, Prabhu. Very nicely put. Because the shelter is so protective, and we will be able to actually feel it. Like Mataji, I've also seen this in many times, even in day-to-day life. If we act according to a pure devotee's advice, a shelter, under their shelter, when we act, it is so protective that we may not be able to see that advice is actually even good for us, but that advice will do us good. It will do us good, and it is the best thing that can happen to a living entity is somehow or other they're fortunate to meet that Vaishnava. The Vaishnava's heart are so soft. It is so wonderful that they don't have anything to gain out of anything in all these things. They don't need any respect. They don't need anything. Their heart is so soft. All they want is they will give to the other devotee. And like in the Bhagavatam, we see every one of them, they've all gone to Krishna because of some Vaishnava devotee. They have not gone on their own. And even at the Prabhu also, Shamkar Prabhu also talk about prayers. Even at the time of death, the Bhagavatam says that one right will not be taken away from us, and that is the right to pray to Krishna. That right will never be taken away. People these days, they say, oh, I want right for that, I want right for this. They fight for so many rights. There is no right. But Krishna always gives us a right to pray. We can pray, and if we're very fortunate, we'll meet the devotees. Without devotees, without the Vaishnavas, we cannot see progress. And if we think it is progress, we're cheating ourselves. We'll stop here, Prabhuji. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely agree, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I really like the point of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That is something that is always there. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sorry, one last thing I want to add also, that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the beginning, there is a verse that Ye Tinera Smaran Hoye Vigna Vinashan Anayas Hoye Nija Vanchita Puran. So in that, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, before you start anything, if you take shelter of, if you remember, just by remembering,